The silent struggle of men who never break. Many men and many people admire men who never break. Uh, he seems strong, steady, unshakable, yet this image often hides a silent struggle few notice or understand. The truth is, no one cares about the man who never breaks, not because they're unkind or they are unkind, but because his pain is invisible. Nobody realizes that that person is struggling or that that person is basically hiding what's going on and hiding the challenges that they're facing, or that the challenges that face men as a whole. So they appear strong, but they're really going through a lot of drama. They're really dealing with a lot of inner struggle. And those struggles deserve attention so that they can move forward, so that they can grow. So the burden of this, of constant strength, is truly a burden. Men who never break often carry heavy burdens. Society expects them to be pillars of strength, always in control, you know, and very reliable, rarely unreliable, very reliable. But this expectation creates pressure and hidden emotions. And these men avoid asking for help. And overall, it can lead to feelings of isolation and or exhaustion. For example, you have a man who's or a woman who's stressed, and worried about their family and or friends, but instead of them, you know, telling their family or dealing with it in those ways, they push through the silence, fearing that showing this weakness shows a point of weakness and or disappointment to others or damaging that particular person's reputation. This is consistent with the effort to maintain that strong man or strong woman facade, but it can wear down even the strongest individual. Why people overlook the silent struggles. Most people just don't know, and the people that are dealing with it think that it's something else. But when someone never shows a sign of struggle, others assume that everything is fine. And this assumption leads to the lack of support and or empathy. People naturally respond to visible signs of distress, but the man and or woman who never breaks rarely displays these signals to anyone. They may, and sometimes they may not even be realizing to some extent that they're going through some of it or want to face those facts as facts. This invisibility means that the challenges often go unnoticed. Friends and or colleagues may admire that person and admire their resilience, but they're missing the toll that is being taken on that person emotionally and their emotionally and their mental health. So without visible cracks, no one realizes that he or she may be struggling or need support. And as much as anyone may want to help, that person is still alone. Why? Because nobody realizes what they're going through. So the cost of never breaking is really a severe one. The cost always appears, or the cost of always appearing strong can be extremely high. So men who suppress their feelings risk developing anxiety, depression, burnout. They may also struggle with physical health problems linked to stress, high blood pressure, sleeping disorders, things along that nature. So consider, if we're talking about men, considering the man who works without complaining, he never misses a deadline, he's always helpful to others, yet he's behind closed doors, he's battling with loneliness or stress or other things that could be going on in his life. Eventually that pressure becomes too much and it leads to a breakdown that surprises everyone. That person that all of a sudden snaps. How to support that particular person or support that man who never breaks. Supporting the man who never breaks and seems unbreakable requires awareness. and intentional effort. Here are some of the practical ways that you can help somebody that's going through this. One is regular check-ins. Simply ask a question. How are you really doing? That can open up the door to honesty and to a conversation. Creating a safe space, encouraging the sharing of feelings without judgment and or pressure. Offering help in a productively productively conducive way. Sometimes men hesitate to ask for help, and by you offering that assistance, you can make it a little bit easier for them. So it lessens that feeling of difficulty for them. And then sometimes just being persistent with asking somebody or offering help, or in some cases, just doing it. Recognizing the small signs can change behavior, mood, and energy levels that may indicate a hidden struggle. Promoting emotional uh, literacy, emotional or not emotional, encourage learning about emotions, healthy ways to express them can be helpful, making that person feel as though they can talk to you, that they can express what may be going on in their lives or going on around them. Changing the narrative around strength can also be something that would be very useful. Strength does not mean never breaking. True strength means including the courage to show your vulnerabilities and seeking support. Changing how our society views strength can help men feel more comfortable about expressing their particular struggles. For example, you've got, a person that's dealing with some mental health challenges, helping them break it down is going to help them to move forward and helping them feel as though they can share that information, that they can honestly show everyone that they're facing difficulty, and asking for help is a sign of strength. It's not a weakness for you guys out there that may be dealing with some stuff. Encouraging self care and also protecting your boundaries. Men who never break often neglect self care. They prioritize other people's needs and or responsibilities over their own well-being. So encouraging self-care and setting boundaries can protect you and protect your mental health so that as you move forward and as you grow. So simple practices like regular exercise, hobbies, quiet time to recharge your energy can reduce stress. Now, when I say quiet time and times alone, I'm talking about everybody needs a break every now and then. But if that becomes too much of a habit, then that means that you may need to seek help. You might be getting to the point of burning out. So, learning to say no and delegating tasks can also help to prevent burnout. So, with that, I hope that this information was useful and that it was helpful. If you believe that there's someone that can use this, that needs to hear this message, please share it with them. And we also ask, if you don't mind, check out our website at mrzinspires.com. Again, that's mrzinspires.com. Also, you can check us out on our YouTube page, which is Mr. Z Inspires. There's a lot of content on there that's free, and you may find it helpful. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.